guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. In today's video, I'm actually going to be doing a bit of a mystery box challenge. So if you've watched MasterChef before, you would have seen how they have mystery boxes sometimes. So they get given a box of ingredients and then they have to create a beautiful meal based on those ingredients. So they usually do have some pantry staples that they could use, like flour, butter, that kind of stuff, sugar, etc. That they have in their cupboard that they can use with it. So that's kind of what I'm doing today, but slightly altered. So I have received this fruit and veg box from Garden of Vegan, which is a meal prep delivery service that also does fresh organic produce delivery, which is what I love. Like, it's such a good service just to be able to buy a big box of fruit and veg and get it sent straight to your door. It's all organic, straight from the farmers, like really good quality stuff. So I actually don't know what's in this box. I've had a box similar to this before, and you get a wide variety of fruit and vegetables, and it does change seasonally depending on what is in season. So I don't actually know exactly what is inside here, and the challenge I'm going to do today is that I'm going to create 3 meals based on these ingredients in the box. So I am going to allow myself to go to the shops and buy a few things to add to the meal, just to add a bit of protein and carbs, but I am going to try and hero the vegetables and fruits that are in this box. So let's unbox it, see what we have to work with. Okay. Alright, first up we have a big head of kale. So there's definitely a few things I could do with that. I could make kale chips, which I haven't done in a while, so that would be fun. Oh yes, we have some cherry tomatoes. I love cherry tomatoes. I actually made a bruschetta in one of my previous videos, which I highly recommend trying. It was so good. Oh yes. Got blueberries. I love getting organic blueberries because they're usually so expensive to buy at the store, so it's so great to get them in the box. What else have I got? I've got some little cos lettuces, I think these are. So that'll be great. I've actually got a leftover chicken schnitzel, like a vegan plantain brand chicken schnitzel to have for dinner tonight. So this will be perfect with that to make a little chicken schnitzel sandwich. Oh, 2 avocados, that is good because I actually really need avocado. Okay, wow, there's literally so much in here. I've got quite a few pears. There's regular pears and then also nashi pears. I love nashi pears, so that's really cool to see. Could definitely make some kind of like stewed pear dessert. That would be pretty cool. We have some capsicums, which are great because they're also pretty expensive at the moment when you buy them in store. And we have some beautiful apples. These are my favorite apples. I love them so much. Now I'm thinking maybe I should make like an apple and pear crumble because you have loads of pears and apples here. That could be fun. Oh, great. There's a massive pumpkin. I love pumpkin. I actually haven't bought pumpkin in a while, so very keen to do something with that. We have 2 limes as well, which is great because I love making guacamole, and we've got the avocados and the limes. That works really well. We have some organic baby spinach, which is great. Very handy to have that, as well as some oranges. 1, 2, 3, 4 oranges this week. Very nice. We also have some zucchinis, which are really handy. I love adding zucchinis into my oats sometimes, or grating them into like a bolognese sauce or something like that. We also have some organic carrots, which I use a lot. I actually made carrot cake muffins yesterday and they are so good. So love my carrots. There's also a couple of onions here, which is great for cooking meals. And then I think the last thing in here, I think this is potatoes. Yes. Well, it looks like we have about 1 kilogram of potatoes here. And I think they're like the ones that still have the dirt on them, which are actually usually the best kind of potatoes. I find that the ones that have the dirt on them, they're like less processed, I think, at least, and they taste really fresh and good when you cook them. So that is great. And that is the empty box. So I'm gonna have a think, and then I'll cut to me making the meals, but just based on kind of what I'm thinking at the moment, I'm thinking definitely like an apple and pear crumble would be so yum. And then I really want to do something with this pumpkin. So I could do like a pumpkin risotto. That could be yum. I'm thinking that would be a go. And then with the blueberries, I might just eat them on their own because I just love them. But I could also make a bruschetta, but I have already done that, so maybe I'll try to do something different. Maybe I'll try make like a pasta sauce with cherry tomatoes and organic baby spinach and maybe some carrots. We'll see. I'll have a think about that one. But I'm definitely going to make some kind of a crumble this week because it sounds so good, and potentially a risotto. But you guys will have to wait and see. I will see you guys later when I am actually cooking the meals, or otherwise if I go to the supermarket and buy some stuff, I'll try to take you along there too. So I'll see you later. Bye. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a little update on what I've decided to make for the mystery box challenge. So firstly, I'm just really craving a bolognese pasta. So I'm going to make a bolognese pasta sauce, but I'm going to load it with veggies. So zucchini, carrot, onion, I'm going to add in a can of lentils, some cherry tomatoes as well. So yeah, I'm going to just pack in the veggies and make it a really veggie packed bolognese sauce and kind of slow cook it a bit so it's more like a ragu. So I'm very excited to make that. I'm just going to serve that with some pasta, and then if I have any leftover sauce I might freeze that and then use it for another time, a rainy day when I just need a pasta sauce quickly. So there's that, and then I'm also going to make a pumpkin risotto. I did mention that I think in the beginning when I first looked at the pumpkin because it just looks so good and I really feel like a creamy pumpkin risotto. But because, you know, just pumpkin and rice, like that doesn't really have much protein in it, I think I'm going to blend up a can of chickpeas and put that in the sauce, which I've never tried before. So we're gonna see if that works. Otherwise, if I do find some kind of like vegan cheese or something, I might pick that up as well, just to add a bit of extra flavor in there. But I'm gonna do that with some rosemary, thyme, maybe a bit of lemon juice or lime juice because we do have lime in that box. So yes, that'll be yummy. And then the other thing I want to make is a satay tofu vegetable salad. So again, using up loads of the veggies. I'm going to use the spinach, some carrot, I think, was that cucumber or was it zucchini? I think it was just zucchini. So anyway, I'll put in some of the zucchini. I'll put in the capsicum, basically like any leftover veggies. I'm just going to whack into that salad, and do some rice noodles as well. So I'm going to just buy some rice noodles and a couple of other bits like tofu and stuff from the supermarket now, which I'll show you a little bit of. But yeah, those are the three main meals. Then I'm also going to make the apple and pear crumble. And then I'm actually going to make carrot cake pancakes for breakfast this morning. So I'm not sure. I'll try film that. And add that in as well, just as like a little extra recipe. But yes, that is what I'm planning on making this week, and I'm very excited because fresh organic vegetables, I swear, like make such a big difference. It really adds like just this beautiful freshness, and you know, you just really enjoy the vegetables when it's good quality vegetables. Whereas, you know, when you just buy stuff from the supermarket or frozen stuff, like it still works, you still get the nutrition and everything, but it doesn't have that beautiful, fresh, delicious taste. So I'm very excited to hero the vegetables in the meals that I'm making this week. So yeah, come along for the ride and I'll show you what I make and the recipes as well. So the first thing I picked up was 2 blocks of tofu. I only used one with the recipes that you'll see, but I did save the other one for the coming week. I also got these pad thai noodles, which was so good. And then this Panna organic chocolate was on sale by so much. Like it usually costs about $9 and it was only $3.95. So what a deal. Couldn't go past that. And then these teriyaki beef style gyoza were also on sale, and these are incredibly delicious. So I also picked that up as a bit of a treat. But yeah, on to the first recipe, which is the satay tofu salad. This was so incredibly good. I actually got inspired by a recipe I saw over on Instagram. I'll insert the name of the creator if I can find it again. But basically they use some pad thai noodles, some tofu, and then loads of fresh, delicious vegetables, as well as a peanut satay sauce. So I used that as inspiration and kind of made it my own, slightly tweaked the satay sauce recipe, as well as added in just all the vegetables I had on hand that I wanted to use up in this recipe. So firstly, to cook the noodles, all you have to do is put it in boiling water for about 8 minutes. Just follow the packet instructions, because depending on what noodles you buy, it might be slightly different, but it's super, super quick and easy. Then you just cut up all your vegetables, put that into a big bowl. I baked my tofu for about 15 minutes just to give it a bit more of a meaty-like texture. And then I just put that in a bowl with the noodles, and then now it is time to make the sauce. So I'm just using an old jar of peanut butter for the base of this recipe. So there's probably about 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. And then to that, I am adding in 2 teaspoons of hoisin sauce. Hoisin sauce is so good for making satay sauces. If you've seen some of my recipes before where I have satay sauce, it's literally just peanut butter and hoisin. But today I decided to add in some sweet chili sauce as well as some soy milk to kind of spread out the mixture a bit and make it a bit thinner. So that worked really well. And the sweet chili sauce did give it a nice little sweet, tangy vibe to it, which was really, really delicious. So I would recommend adding that into your satay sauce. And so now literally all you have to do is serve it up and pour over the satay sauce when you're ready to serve. So what I did was I just prepared 1 serving for me here to have for lunch, and then the rest of the salad I stored in little containers, and I stored the sauce separately because you don't want to store the sauce with the salad because then it will go a bit soggy, whereas it can last up to 3 days if you've got it separately. So that's what I would recommend. And with the fresh mint in this, it just tasted so incredibly delicious. And those vegetables, those fresh organic vegetables, like, this is just such a winning recipe. I honestly am craving it right now that I'm filming this voiceover, and I highly, highly recommend you give this one a go. If you do have lots of vegetables on hand that you want to use up, this is a perfect salad to do that, and it's also great for meal prep. On to recipe number 2. Today we have this beautiful hidden vegetable bolognese pasta. So you can use up pretty much whatever vegetables you like, but today I went with zucchini, carrot, cherry tomato, and onion. So those were all the vegetables that I included. I also bought a jar of passata and some lentils, and then I also am using a protein penne pasta. So it's the brand Veta, and it actually tastes literally exactly like regular pasta, but it has way more protein. So a usual serve of pasta usually has around 6 to 12 grams of protein. It definitely depends on the brand you choose, but this one had over 24 grams of protein per serve, which is pretty amazing. And then also we have a bit of extra protein coming in from those lentils. So it's a really great high protein, quick and easy recipe that just tastes so comforting and delicious. So here, as you can see, I'm sauteing all the vegetables. Just want to get them nice and well cooked and sauteed with a little bit of olive oil. I'm also adding in some dried basil here. You could for sure add in fresh basil, but I just had dried basil on hand and it was really easy to do. So I used a bit of that. You could also add in some oregano or any other spices that you like. Now it's time to add in our drained and rinsed canned lentils, as well as the jar of pasta sauce. So I also filled up the jar about a quarter way with water just to get all the last bits of the sauce out. And that's also a good way to kind of stretch out the sauce a little bit and make it a bit more saucy and delicious. So now that you've got that all combined, I'm actually putting this onto a slow cooker setting for 30 minutes to make it into more of a ragu and to really blend those flavors well together. You could just totally cook this on the stove as normal for about, 10 to 15 minutes to help it simmer down, but I just decided it would be easier to just chuck it in the Instant Pot, just set and forget. And then while that was cooking away, I made the pasta. This protein pasta did take a bit longer than kind of regular pastas to cook. I think it took about 18 minutes. So I did that while the sauce was cooking down. And then the last step is to just blend the sauce a little bit. So this is completely optional. You don't have to do this, but I just find with the grated veggies, I prefer it blended up so it tastes more like a regular bolognese sauce, and you don't really think about the veggies as much, but the veggies are definitely there and giving you so much nutrition. But yeah, it just goes into like a nice kind of smooth pasta sauce once you blend it up a little bit. And it tastes really, really good. So you could either just blend this in your blender, but I found it easier to just use the hand immersion blender in the Instant Pot so I didn't have to, clean up another utensil, you know, the blender. So once that was all blended to my liking, you can leave it a bit chunky if you prefer it like that, and then you just add in the cooked pasta, stir that around, and that is literally it. So this made 4 servings of pasta, each with about 30 grams of protein per serve, so a really good serving of protein, and this is honestly so delicious. I topped it with a few more little basil flakes and just enjoyed it. It was so good, and it's so great for meal prep as well. This actually freezes really well. Some pastas I feel don't freeze as well, but this protein pasta freezes so well. So I put 2 of the servings into the freezer for later, and then I had 1 in the fridge for the following day. So all in all, a really great meal prep friendly, freezer friendly recipe that tastes absolutely incredible. On to recipe number 3, which is this beautiful pumpkin risotto. So first up, I decided to use some of the kale by making some kale chips to top the risotto with. And as you can see here, they're so crispy and crunchy and delicious. And literally all I did was massage in some olive oil, put a few spices in, and pop that into the oven for about 15 minutes. So quick and easy. So while that was cooking, I started on the risotto. I've just got some onion and a little bit of garlic here, sauteing that down with some olive oil. Again, I am using my Instant Pot just to make things easier for myself, and I have it on a saute setting at the moment. So I'm also adding in some rosemary and a little bit of thyme here to give it a beautiful herby flavor. Then I've added in 1 cup of risotto rice, and I'm just stirring that so it gets nice and slightly toasted. I'm adding in 2 chicken style stock cubes as well as some boiling water. You don't have to add in boiling water, but it kind of just quickens up the process a little bit. And you just want to add in a bit of water, stir it around, wait till the rice soaks it all up, and then add in a little bit more water as you go. And then eventually you get this beautiful creamy risotto. So while that was cooking down, I decided to make a little hummus. It was kind of just a throw everything in the blender type hummus, not a traditional hummus recipe. If you do want a more traditional hummus recipe, I have a full video just on hummus recipes, so you can check that out. I'll link that in the top right corner and in the description box below. But this was just what I had on hand. So I had limes. I didn't have any lemon, so I used lime instead of lemon. I didn't have any tahini, so I just subbed that out for a bit of olive oil. And yeah, just added in some spices, and it was pretty quick and easy and simple. And so what I'm going to do with that later is top the risotto off with this beautiful chickpea hummus type thing, just to give it a bit of extra protein, because the actual pumpkin risotto doesn't have a whole lot of protein. So I'm just adding a little bit with that topping of hummus. So now with the pumpkin, I have about 500 grams of pumpkin here. I've just steamed it for about 10 minutes until it's nice and fork tender, and then chuck that in the blender. And now I'm adding that into the risotto to give it this beautiful creamy pumpkin taste, which is so good. And this recipe is really versatile. You could add in other vegetables if you wanted, like you could have also steamed some carrots and, you know, blended the carrots in with it as well if you had extra carrots lying around. You could also do this with something like sweet potato or any other vegetable that kind of steams up well. You can just chuck that in the blender with it and add that to your risotto. The other way to make a pumpkin risotto is to roast the pumpkin, but today I just felt like a really creamy, simple pumpkin risotto. So I went with the steaming method, which works so well, and it's really so simple and easy to do. And it's also great because you don't have to cut up your pumpkin too small. You can just have big chunks and just wait for it to steam and cook that way. So now it is time to serve up the risotto. This made about 3 large servings of risotto. You probably could stretch it out to 4 or just increase the rice by a little bit more to make it 4 really easily. But I was just making 3 servings today and topped that off with a large tablespoon of the hummus as well as some kale chips. This was honestly so tasty. It tastes as good as it looks, and it would actually be really good for kids as well. They probably won't want the kale on top, but the actual risotto would be really kid friendly because it's just so creamy and delicious and flavoursome. And yeah, it's so good. So great for the whole family, as well as that hidden vegetable bolognese. Actually, that would be really good for kids as well. Anyway, we are on to the final recipe for today, this beautiful apple and pear crumble. Oh my gosh, this tasted so good. So you want to start off with about 3 to 4 pears and about 4 apples. Just chop them up nice and finely, add them to a pot. I'm just adding in about a tablespoon of maple syrup here, just to give it that beautiful caramel-like flavor. And now I'm going to go in with some cinnamon, quite a lot of cinnamon actually, because you want it to have that beautiful cinnamon flavor, that earthy flavor. Oh, it's so good. I also added in a teaspoon of vanilla extract to give it that beautiful vanilla flavor. And that is literally it. You just want to cook that on your stove until it all boils down and it's nice and delicious and soft. So just let that go for a few minutes while you make the crumble topping. So I'm starting off with some butter, some maple syrup, and some flour. I would usually go half with flour and oats for a regular crumble topping. However, we ran out of oats on this particular day, so I just used only flour and it still worked really well. I would prefer it with oats though. I think it does just give it that edge, but I decided to add in some walnuts as well as some coconut because I had that on hand and that gave it a bit of crunch, which was really good. I've also added in some spices and a little bit of extra maple syrup, and that is it. So now you can see the apple and pear mixture is really nice and cooked down and juicy and delicious. And so it's time to transfer that into our baking dish. So here I just have a nice shallow baking dish, putting in all of those delicious stewed fruits until it is nice and full. And then we're just going to top it with the crumble topping that we made earlier. So just crumble it into little bits and pour it all over the top. Just do what you like with it. You could add in a little bit of extra nuts or some extra coconut if you want. You will see in a second that I just poured over a little bit of extra desiccated coconut because I just felt like it. But you could also add in something like dates or sultanas work really well in this. Anyway, you pop it in the oven for about 15 minutes or until it's nice and crunchy and browned on top, and then it is time to serve. So for me, for my size servings, this made 4 serves, but you could definitely stretch this to 6. It was probably, I'll put in the nutritional information below, but I think it's like around 300 calories per serve for a 4 serving, which is great for me because I want those delicious nutrients and calories, and it just tasted so good. So I wanted to have a nice big serve, but you could definitely stretch this to 6 servings. And I've decided to just serve it with a little bit of plant-based yogurt. I'm using a almond-based yogurt here, which was really yummy, and it paired really well with the crumble. You could obviously also have this with something like vanilla ice cream, which would be so delicious. But I just had this yogurt on hand, so that's what I went with today, and it tasted absolutely incredible. Would highly recommend this. Honestly, the pear in this made such a difference. I don't often make pear and apple crumble. It's usually just apple or apple and rhubarb. So definitely give this one a go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and all the recipes I included. It was a bit of a long one today, but I'm really grateful for you being here and staying to the end and watching this video. Let me know if you want to see anything else in future videos, and I look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.